What's happening, Toledo? I'm Faith Atkins, and in studio with me is an extraordinary woman who is putting love into action for children with rare health conditions. Lisa Fulton is the founder of Operation Surprise Attack, and she's here to tell us what it's all about. So, Lisa, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, first things first, what is Operation Surprise Attack?
Operation Surprise Attack is a 501c3 nonprofit organization as of November of last year. I've been doing card launches for almost 15 years now, and I just decided to turn it into a nonprofit last year. So what we do is we recruit schools, churches, individuals, youth organizations, even we're starting to get into nursing homes and senior centers as well. And we have them make cards for sick children in our community. So we surprise these kids by attacking them with an outpouring of love and support on their health journey. So we have card launches several times a year, and we go ahead and just really surprise them and encourage them to keep fighting and get better.
I love that. Is so beautiful. And so, for something as beautiful as this, where did the inspiration come from?
So I have a nephew who was born with spina bifida, and a couple years after he was born, I was thinking, man, if he ever got sick older, when he was older and had to do a hospital stay, he had already had several surgeries in his short time here, and I thought I would love to see people encourage him in a way that would just make his day, make his year, make his world, So at the same time, I had just seen a news story on Channel 13 about this boy up in Michigan who is terminally ill, and his mom reached out, and the entire city got involved by sending cards, gifts, and it actually ended up being a worldwide thing for him. And so when Channel 13 went into his home, he literally had from floor to ceiling just stacks and stacks of cards and gifts from all over the world. And I thought, if they could do that up in Michigan, I can do something here in Northwest Ohio. So I decided to reach out to all of my friends and family and said, if I decide to do this, would you guys support me in this? And it was overwhelming. And so I found my first child, and we sent him hundreds of cards, and he was a boy in Toledo, and he had cancer. So that's where my inspiration comes from, is my nephew, and from that story up in Michigan.
Wow, that's amazing. And with the cards, for me, I'm a word person. Words, there's power in our words. Talk to me about the messages some of the messages that you've read to children, and just the importance of words.
Sure. So we do a lot of, stay encouraged, keep fighting, you're a star, don't give up. We're rooting you on, we're cheering for you, we're praying for you. Some of these cards come from kids who have been through similar situations, and those are the ones that are the most endearing. I remember seeing a card last year, and it was from a young lady who was a senior, and I forget what school she was at, but it was local, and she had cancer as a very young child. I think she was 2 or 3, and of course she overcame it and beat the odds, and she sent such a beautiful, heartfelt message to this young boy, and said, I know where you're at. I remember what it was like to go through the chemo. I remember when it was like to go through all of these tests. Just know that it will get better. And when I read that, I had our whole team read it, and we were all in tears. It was so encouraging and uplifting to see her reach out to a young boy who, she wasn't the same age, but she remembered exactly what he was going through. So all that to say is that words, like you said, have power. And we've actually had children that have relapsed from cancer. There was a child in particular who wanted to give up, and he ended up receiving about 450 cards from a local school several years ago. And after going through them, he went out to his mom and said, you know what, these cards have encouraged me so much that I'm going to go ahead and start chemo again. And so he ended up going through chemo, and he beat cancer, but he was ready to give up until he got those cards. So, just a simple, I'm praying for you, I'm thinking about you, you can do it, we love you, means so much to kids who are sick.
That's so powerful. Just our words can really uplift someone's spirit. I love that. And so, Talk to me about the reaction from the community, or often, the reaction from families and the children that you've seen.
Sure. I've never, to this day, have I ever seen a negative reaction. It's been very, very encouraging to see the kids get the cards. When we send the cards, since we're a nonprofit now, I have a PO box or a UPS box, and we have all the cards sent to us so that our team can go ahead and review them. Once we get those cards, we take them to the families, and the cards and gifts, because a lot of kids have such a heart to encourage, but sometimes we have to review those cards because they can be as good of a heart as these kids have. Sometimes it can be something a little bit off
Yeah, kids.
in the card, right? Because kids will be kids.
They'll say the darndest thing.
Exactly. So, we take them, and these kids that receive them and the families, there's usually never a dry eye in the room when we show up with boxes and bags of cards and gifts. Because I tell them up front, you could get a couple hundred cards, you could get a couple thousand cards. It all depends on the schools that get involved and the churches and youth organizations. But never have I ever gone with under 500 cards for an individual. So it's very overwhelming for the kids, which in a good way, especially when they see kids that, like from their school that have, or their church that have encouraged them. It just does something to them. It gives them that extra boost, to keep on fighting. So, and in the community, people come up to me. I've got magnets on my car that say Operation Surprise Attack, and they always want to know what that is, because it's Operation Surprise Attack Love in Action. And so when I tell people about it, they get excited. They're like, "Oh, I love this idea. How can I get involved?" So it's very rare that I will be somewhere and someone doesn't stop me and say something either about my magnets or about my shirt that I might be wearing, because I'm always trying to promote us. So the community has definitely it's been a very good response from them as well. So as soon as the schools hear from us, they all want to get involved. I've only had a couple of schools that haven't been able to get involved when we've contacted them, and it's only because it might be testing or, schools getting ready to get out for something. But for the most part, everyone is on board as soon as they hear about us.
Of course they are. And I mean, speaking of getting involved, how can someone get involved, whether they want their child to be a recipient or a volunteer? How does one go about that?
You can go to our website. It's www.operationsurpriseattack.org. If there's a family that would like to get involved to become an actual card launch recipient, they just have to click on the recipient application in the menu bar. If it's a person that wants to be a volunteer, just hit volunteer opportunities, or they can email us at support@operationsurpriseattack.org.
Awesome. And also, you guys have an event coming up pretty soon next month, and people can get involved there too. So
yes.
Let's talk about that. What's coming up?
So in September, because it's Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month, we're focusing on 4 to 7 families locally. I have 4 confirmed. I'm currently working on 3 more, hopefully to have confirmed within the next 2 weeks. And we will be sending cards to these kids. It's our fall September card launch, but we're doing it special for Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month. A lot of times we'll have more than just one disease or illness that we focus on, but September is for cancer kids only. But we are hoping to raise approximately $5,000 in this card launch, so that we can help support our families. Since I became a nonprofit, we are now able to help our families with gas cards and food cards when they're on the road, because a lot of them travel outside of Toledo for treatment. So we try to take the burden off them when they're traveling. We also help with groceries, utility bills, medical bills. So, every dime that we get in, helps to help our families. So it's a big deal this September. We really want to be a blessing to them. And we've also helped with, we do the utilities, we do the household expenses if we can. We try to give a monetary donation. Since November, every card launch, we've been able to give a monetary donation, which has been fantastic. It's the first time we've ever been able to do it. So with this $5,000, it'll definitely go towards making a difference in the lives of these families. We also help with bereavement expenses as well if a child passes. So so we're definitely looking to make this a very, very special card launch and to surprise these families families with an extra monetary gift.
That's so awesome. I'm pretty sure after people see this, they're going to want to donate, because I
hope so.
definitely do. But yeah, Lisa, so I mean, is there anything else that you want viewers to know about Operation Surprise Attack that we didn't get to that you think is important for folks to know?
Well, I'm always looking for help. So whether that's by making and sending cards or for coming out to one of our events, we like to have a couple volunteers and help us take them out to the community as well.
And how can folks keep up with you guys?
Well, we're on Facebook at Operation Surprise Attack. We are on Instagram, and then our website is operationsurpriseattack.org. And then, of course, they can email us at support@operationsurpriseattack.org.
Wow. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for coming in and talking about Operation Surprise Attack. And most of all, thank you for all that you do. That I just love what you guys are all about, and it just warms my heart.
Oh,
it really
thank you
does.
so much.
Thank you.